where car makers were coming up with all sorts of crazy ideas in order to increase their sales, the Coupe SUV was born. A concept designed to combine the size and practicality of an SUV with the elegant shapes and the sportiness of a coupe. And, since BMW was the only one getting all the laughter on the forums, Mercedes decided to join the party as well. Meet the new Mercedes-Benz GLE Coupe, the old ML now in an X6 format. Do you know how this huge car feels when you're driving it? It feels just like a double-decker bus and you're riding on the top floor. You sit that high in it. If you haven't driven one of these SUVs before, you'll feel like you're sitting almost 2 meters from the ground. And driving it in a small town like I'm doing now, you'll go to every gap like this. And basically, you'll have to relearn everything about driving because this car is huge. Do you remember the feeling you had before an exam where you didn't study at all? This is exactly how it feels like when you're trying to get this thing around town. So let's see if this car is what the Germans claim it to be. We'll start with the family part. Is it as practical, as spacious and as comfortable as any SUV should be? It's almost 5 meters long, 2 meters wide, and it weighs 2.2 tons. Yeah, 2 of those. More so, it's almost as tall as an adult. It can fit 5 people with absolutely no problem, and it's got tons of luggage space. And despite what I just told you, and the excellent 21-inch wheels from the AMG pack, this thing is very comfortable and the suspension is very refined, no matter how big the potholes are in the road. Even on the inside, this car is huge. It's just as spacious as the regular GLE, and 3 adults will have no problems fitting in the back. The boot is also quite large. It's got 650 liters, 40 less than the regular GLE, but the loading bay is quite high and you'll have to do some lifting in order to load the luggage. Back to the front seats, you can't really argue with the fact that the design of the dash looks quite dated, quite old, and the facelift that we've been hearing about lately cannot come faster. Other than that, the materials used here are really high quality ones, the attention to details is top notch, and so is the build quality. So we've got the SUV part covered, right? Then let's talk about the coupe side of things. Today we're driving the 350d 4MATIC version, which has a 3-liter turbocharged diesel engine capable of producing 258 horsepower and, get this, 620 Newton meters of torque. And if you put the car in sport mode, you can most definitely feel each and every one of those Newton meters. It goes from north to 100 kilometers per hour in just 7 seconds, and it can reach a higher top speed than you would ever want to go in an SUV. And when you have the car in sport mode, this stiffens up the suspension, hardens the steering, and the throttle response is instantaneous. I am absolutely blown away by this machine in sport mode. The things you can do with it shouldn't be physically possible. You're sitting almost 2 meters from the road and you can throw it in corners at speeds that can blow your mind. It doesn't lean at all. There's absolutely no body roll. I don't know how this is possible. The steering allows you to place the car exactly where you want. It feels very nimble, very light, and that's very strange for me to say it, but it's quite true. It's very engaging to drive. You get a second gear corner and you just floor the throttle and the car absolutely pulls you out of the corner at huge speeds. It's incredible. In an SUV, a 2.2 ton SUV, you can do this. Jesus Christ. Just imagine how you can scare yourself to shit with a more powerful engine than this. I wouldn't want to experience that, really. It's 258 horsepower, it's enough for me. Absolutely amazing. I'm really shocked. So, the conclusion. The new GLE Coupe, or Coupe, however you want to call it. Well, if this was the aim of Mercedes, to create an SUV with a coupe-like shape and the sportier handling, well, in my opinion, they very bloody well did it. You've got comfort, you've got refinement, you've got space, and sportiness all in one package. But if you're looking for something spacious, comfortable and sporty, a car that can seat 5 people inside with room to spare, then what's the problem with the new E43 4MATIC Estate? It's roomy, it's got 400 horsepower, it has a similar sized boot, and it's got a price to match the GLE Coupes.